Hey everyone, this is Mike with Condition One.
And Sean, our buddy Spence is missing. He's out doing a sheriff's thing, serving the good law to the people of Montana.
So last weekend was our annual turkey camp. We were in central Montana, and it's one of those hunts that we go to every year, and it's nothing serious. We always just have a good time. We grill some elk steaks, have a few cocktails, and have a fire. It's usually the first fire of the season, just because the winters here in Montana can kind of drag out every once in a while.
And we spend the January through March just kind of waiting for hunting season. Then April comes around, and that's our official kickoff to each year, the new hunting season.
It's basically a camping trip where you got to wake up early and go chase turkeys. But they're smart. It's not an easy hunt, but it's just a fun hunt. So
tell us about your turkey.
Yeah, so the first day, opening morning, we got out to a spot that we know there's usually a lot of turkeys. It's kind of right on the edge of some private and public that we hunt. We had turkeys kind of walking down a road, toms strutting all over, and except they wouldn't leave the road, and they were just on the other side of the fence. So had to let those go, and we ended up running up a ridge and catching a flock. But before we could even get set up, they busted us and flew. So that morning was pretty uneventful. Driving back to our camp, and we were not too far from town, and we ended up, there's a handful of state sections that you have to go drive through, and we were driving, and all of a sudden there was a flock, about 10 birds on state, on public, opening morning. Nobody was messing with them. We pulled over, just kind of looked at them and called and played with them a little bit, got them to gobble every once in a while. We ended up just kind of driving over the hill and then parking. Sean and I got out, doubled back on them, made a big circle around and got in front of them. We kind of knew the direction they were headed towards, and got in front of them, and was lucky enough we peeked over a ridge, and the whole flock was there, and all of a sudden there was a Jake probably 10 yards away staring at me, and all of a sudden its eyes were bright as can be, and I look over to the left, and there was a tom kind of strutted out about 10 yards. He had his eye on a hen, and he messed up by staying fanned out while the rest of the flock was running away. So ended up one big shot, a 6-shot out of my grandpa's shotgun into his head, and that's all she wrote. And then he couldn't stop the flop. It was good. We ended up just taking a few pictures, and I think we're going to eat them up tomorrow night. So. How'd your guys go?
So, sat up on a hill that they were at the day before. We saw a couple of big toms sit right where we posted up, and of course, nothing came our direction.
No gobbles, nothing.
Yeah, absolutely
not a damn
nothing.
thing.
Nothing came our way. But on the opposite side of the hill, opposite side of the draw, we heard turkeys gobbling like crazy.
When he says draw, we mean like valley. It was not a close. It was a hiking.
Yeah, it was probably. It was probably a click away or so.
Yep.
They're gobbling. So we said, okay, well, let's go down. Let's grab our stuff, pick up our stuff, all our decoys and everything. Let's go down and chase these guys. So we chased them, and we kept talking with them, kind of just hen clucked our way up there, and we kept hearing them gobble. We start walking and cluck a little bit on our way up, and they're still gobbling. We couldn't tell how far they were, maybe 300-400 yards away. And then all of a sudden, Spence stops all of us, and he says, they're right there. Mike and I, we couldn't see them. So you kind of poke your head up around, you can see turkeys fanned out all over the place. So we set up
Eagle
right
Eye
there.
Spence saved the day, hands down.
Yeah, Eagle Eye. So we set up our decoy, and the three of us just kind of sat where we were. Spence and I lay down on the ground in the prone just to stay low.
We got one of those Jake decoys with the fan out. I kind of stayed just behind them.
We kept chatting with them, and Spence kind of gave it the box call. They kept gobbling, they were running down, they were fanning out, getting down and running forward, fanning out, and they kind of disappeared in a little bit of a dip. And Mike was sitting taller than us, and he could see him first. So he kept saying, they're right there, you gotta shoot them. We couldn't see a thing. And then all of a sudden, we could see these redheads popping up, and they were strutting around, and they weren't fanned out, but they were checking it out. And right about the time where Spence and I could shoot, Mike's saying, you gotta shoot. We could just barely see them. They took 1 or 2 steps forward, and we could see their heads. Perfect shot. We almost start the countdown, and then they just all 4 of them just gobbled their heads off right in front of us. And then they perked their heads up nice and tall again. And then it was the 3, 2, 1 shoot. We shot and 2 jakes went down right then and there. And then the other 2 ran off. I chased after them and hoped for the best, but couldn't get them, but they just ran off. So we had 2 jakes down, and we ended up actually, after they were dead, chasing them back up the hill, and they kept gobbling with us. But we couldn't get in for any more. We were kind of getting ready to pack out these 2 jakes we just shot. There was over this way and over that way,
they
and
just
behind
started
us in
sounding
every
off,
direction. There was turkeys gobbling, hens clucking, and the turkey rut was on. We packed up, we got out of there, and it was another successful
Rainstorm
weekend.
came in. Yeah.
Yeah, rainstorm.
Rainstorm came in, but
It was opening weekend, 3 turkeys down, 3 tags to fill, and so it was a pretty good weekend. Another great kickoff to the new hunting season.
just one of those hunts where we look forward to it every year, and people are like, "Oh, it's just a turkey." There's something about hearing those thunder chickens gobble early in the morning.
If you haven't listened to turkeys gobble up close, you wouldn't understand. But if you have, it is comparable to elk bugling. It's not as cool, but it gets your blood going. It is a lot of fun.
Let us know what you think. Give us a like and share subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. We're gonna be posting videos every week or 2, and let us know what you think.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
We're gonna be doing a Ghost Adventures tour later at the neighbor's house.